He was humiliated in front of over 100 strangers, pulled from his seat, downgraded, and told with a smile that first class isn't for everyone. No warning. No apology. Just quiet, practiced cruelty at 35,000 feet. They never asked his name. They didn't care who he was. And that was their first mistake. This isn't just another story about a flight gone wrong. It's about what happens when power doesn't need a Rolex, doesn't make announcements, and doesn't raise its voice to burn the whole system to the ground. As the crew mocked him, as passengers whispered, as someone even laughed and muttered, he should have known his place. They thought they were watching another black man get pushed aside, just another forgettable injustice. But what they didn't know was that this man owned the sky they were flying through. At Terminal C of LaGuardia's International Wing, travelers hustled between polished glass walls and marbled floors, designer scarves and tailored coats dotting the crowd. Gate 31 was cordoned off with a velvet rope that separated first class from everyone else. That line didn't just divide seating, it drew a line between those who were expected and those who weren't. Drayton Ellis adjusted the cuffs of his charcoal suit. The platinum trim caught the soft overhead lights as he stepped past that velvet line. There was no hesitation in his stride. A man like him had nothing to prove, yet everything about him was measured, calm, deliberate. His dark slate Bione suit and pressed white shirt didn't scream status. But they didn't have to. Confidence was woven into the way he moved. To the world around him, he was anonymous, and that was by design. He preferred it that way. Anonymity, after all, was a powerful tool when you were underestimated. He handed his phone to the gate agent. It beeped green. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Ellis," she said with a practiced smile, one that arrived a second too late and a beat too forced for someone whose name had triggered first-class clearance. He felt it, that flicker, the one he'd trained himself to catch, the slight shift in posture, the voice that strains for friendliness a split second too late. But he shook it off. His seat 2 hours familiar, right side, second row, near the window. It was his sanctuary, his reward for months of grueling global meetings. But when he stepped into the aircraft and made his way down the first-class aisle, something was off. A man was already reclined in his seat. White, mid-50s, balding, navy suit, reading the Financial Times like he owned the plane. Drayton hesitated, double-checked the row. "Yes, 2A. "Excuse me," Drayton said evenly. "I believe that's my seat." The man didn't look up. "Don't think so." Drayton's gaze hardened. He turned to a nearby flight attendant. Blonde. Tablet in hand. Name tag. Riley. "There's been a mistake. This is my assigned seat." She glanced at the pass, tapped the screen. Then her demeanor shifted. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Ellis," she said. "It looks like there was a last-minute change." "A change?" he asked. "Made by whom?" "The system, sir. Sometimes we have to accommodate priority passengers." "And you moved me without asking?" His voice never rose. "Yes, sir. You've been reassigned." "Where?" Riley hesitated. "Economy." Drayton blinked. "You downgraded me to economy without notice for someone who was just upgraded at the gate?" "It's not personal," she said quickly. "No," Drayton replied, his tone like ice. "It never is." A man in 1C chuckled, not bothering to hide it. "Relax, man," he muttered. "It's just a seat. Happens all the time." Drayton turned to him. "I doubt it happens to you." The man smirked but said nothing. Riley offered a token apology and 25,000 bonus miles. He declined. "I'm not here for consolation." The man in his seat folded his paper. "These things happen, pal." Without another word, Drayton reached into his jacket, pulled out a sleek phone, and made a single call. "Yes," he said. "Activate Article 21. Flight 1143. LaGuardia to LAX." He ended the call and turned to Riley. "You'll know what that means in about 3 minutes." He didn't wait for a reply. He walked toward economy. No theatrics. No scene. Just calm, deliberate movement. His new seat 22 quaz stained with a toddler's juice box. A man beside it in flip-flops didn't move, just shrugged. "Kids spilled it. They said they'd clean it." Drayton pointed it out to the next flight attendant. Male, tall, slicked back hair. Tag read, "Derek. That seat is wet." Derek gave it a cursory wipe with a napkin. "Should be fine now. It's still damp." "You're lucky we found you a seat at all," Derek replied coolly. Drayton said nothing, just sat down, back stiff. Minutes passed. The plane reached cruising altitude. He opened his laptop and began working. That's when a splash of icy water doused his suit and fried his laptop. Oh no! Derek gasped. Turbulence. There had been no turbulence. You did that on purpose, Drayton said softly. Why would I do that? Before he could respond, a woman across the aisle hissed. Can you keep it down? Some of us are trying to relax. No one stood up. No one helped. When Derek offered to relocate him again, Drayton agreed. They moved him to 10 next to the lavatory, broken screen, broken tray. Then came the ID check. Linda, another attendant, asked to see his ID. Why? Drayton asked. Routine, she claimed. Is everyone being checked? No answer. He handed over his credentials. A few passengers muttered. One leaned over and said, These upgrades aren't meant for just anyone, you know? Anyone? Drayton asked. You don't give off that legacy vibe. Legacy. That word echoed. He pressed the call button. This time, a younger attendant named Clara arrived. Can I speak to the lead? After a delay, Heather, the flight supervisor, arrived. I've been subjected to ID checks, property damage, and discriminatory treatment, he said calmly. All standard, Heather replied curtly. No. It's a pattern. A woman 2 rows up whispered, people like him think they belong up here. Drayton turned to her. Say it. Say what you mean. Heather ordered Clara to escort him back to his seat. No need, he replied. I'll go myself. He made another call. Grant access. Pull seating logs. Activate FAA contact chain. Then calmly he sat. Heather returned minutes later, this time brimming with authority. Unauthorized communication at altitude is prohibited. My device is encrypted, doesn't emit signal, Drayton replied. Your behavior is escalating, she said. I've done nothing but comply, he said. You just don't like that I remember. Heather left again, but the words stuck. You haven't seen escalation. A young pilot passed, muttering, First class is too easy to fake these days. That was the last straw. Drayton unlocked his phone and triggered Protocol B13. Within moments, Langston Dynamics legal, PR, and ethics divisions were engaged. Real-time cabin feed, audio logs, crew interactions, all of it recorded. He wasn't just enduring now. He was orchestrating. The meal cart arrived. Meal service? Derek asked, without eye contact. Pasta. Out. Chicken? Reserved. Vegetarian? Contaminated. So I'm the only person on this plane with no meal? Seems that way. Passengers nearby looked uncomfortable. One man muttered, if you just sat where you were told. Drayton didn't respond. Then came another comment, respect is earned, not shouted for. Drayton turned. You frame your discomfort as logic so you can stay ignorant and feel righteous. The man stiffened. It's always about race now, he muttered. No, Drayton replied. It always has been. You're just not used to hearing it. Later, as the flight neared descent, a voice summoned Heather to the cockpit. Captain Rowe was waiting. Calm. Serious. He owns the airline, the captain said simply. As of 3 weeks ago. Drayton Ellis is the majority shareholder of this company. Heather went pale. You'll go back, the captain said. And you'll make this right. Back in the cabin, she returned with a new tone. Mr. Ellis, the captain invites you forward for debrief. Drayton stood. As he walked the aisle, heads turned. The same people who mocked or ignored him now shifted in their seats, unsure of what to say. Inside the cockpit, Captain Rowe handed him the secured tablet. Drayton tapped in his clearance code. Effective immediately, he said, initiate audit. Place Heather Carson, Derek Miller, and Linda Morales under suspension pending investigation. Yes, sir, the captain replied. By the time they landed, black SUVs waited on the tarmac. For compliance officers entered. Heather Carson. Derek Miller. Linda Morales. You are hereby relieved of duty pending review. The crew was escorted off. Not arrested. Not shamed. But exposed. Drayton remained in his seat until the process was complete. Then, without a word, he stepped into the terminal. The team waited to greet him. You want to issue a statement? His assistant asked. Not yet, Drayton replied. Let them sit with the silence. Hours later, a news alert popped up. Heather, now terminated, released a statement. I was wrong, she said on camera. I harmed someone I should have served. I didn't question my biases. I'm volunteering now. It's not enough, but it's a beginning. Drayton watched in silence, then turned toward the private elevator that would take him to his car. Just before the doors closed, a young crew member approached Grace. She'd stayed silent during the flight. I was afraid, she said. But I want to do better. I want to help with the reform program. He nodded. You'll hear from my team. She blinked. Thank you. We don't need perfect allies, he said. Just brave ones. The doors closed, and as they did, he saw a young boy pointing at a plane through the glass. That boy's eyes were full of wonder. And Drayton knew that was who this was for. Change hadn't just landed, it had taken off.